what's up, guys? Come back. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Um, I don't really know Memorial Day weekend. Everything that happened, like in news, is like Trump with all these like tariffs and all the stuff that's going on. It's been like a little rocky, but um, it's no big deal. There's just there's a lot of stuff going on in the market right now, with all these like tariff things, like literally like the way that I imagine. What the fuck is my hair doing? Stop doing that, please. What I imagine it is like basically Trump has like a button that's just like tariff, tariff, tariff. All this different stuff. So as far as we understand it, there's a delay until July 9 for both EU and China. The China thing was from previously, when the whole like market was essentially crashing and we thought we were gonna have a recession, like that point in time, right? So this trade that I'm showing you, you'll notice that I missed a day yesterday or Tuesday. Tuesday was just like a really busy day for me. Didn't really have time to like really sit down and take a trade, so I didn't. Except voice crack. Except I was actually sitting, like I was picking up my dad from the airport, and I'm like, all right, it's at that point I think it was like literally 9:30, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna hop on, and like I looked at my phone, literally right on my phone, and just like took a look. It's it's the same whether you're on a computer or you're on your phone. It's the same. Everything is the same. So something that I did want to showcase is this, directly on TradingView. I didn't even take a trade. Nothing was placed here. This was purely just, I guess, practice, I guess you could say. And so yeah, just sort of this, I definitely wanted to showcase because of like just how beautiful it is. Like, I know that sounds weird, but like this is exactly what you want from a demand portion within S&D. And yeah, I just thought this would be a good time to showcase it. So moving into the hourly, we can shift over like that. Moving into the hourly, we see sort of price moving up, this sort of interest area down here, which was an attempt to fill from this gap. So we see this interest area, and we mark out the bottom of the interest area, and we continue to move higher. I would say that if you're trading, like, let's just say, just like to make it easier for you guys to sort of see it and understand it, we're gonna make this like a white circle. So we're gonna imagine that price, anything in the white circle isn't even there. So I think that was like right around here, and we see that we set a new high. So we set a new high here, right up here, and because we break these highs, essentially we broke this high of the initial move down into the interest zone. So once we break that high, we know that we will eventually retrace. But you can see these other highs up here as well. Now this is on the hourly, so this sort of really does depict the way that price moves compared to moving on with the 5-minute. But just to give you a very general view of it. So now I'm actually gonna get rid of this white square. Sorry if it's very bright, I apologize. Okay, so we see our new high after taking these lows, or after taking these highs, we see this new high get set. And just, consolidation within, we fill this gap here, continue to consolidate. I wasn't even in the charts at this point. And then you see this initial move down, going into here, and then you see this interest zone. This my 50% body candle thing illustrates like interest zones within supply and demand. So we see this interest zone, and we continue to move lower. We see this gap right here as well. I mark out this gap, and then I see a very large move down to when we sweep out this low, which also happens to be our interest zone as well. So it kind of, everything just like falls into place, and that's why I really wanted to showcase this trade, especially because this is a great way to learn about supply and demand, because this is like an exact, like, this is, a lot of times, like with confluences and technical analysis and that whole thing, people really think it's like not real, to some degree, and unfortunately we'll get into my trade today, which we'll talk more about that, but this is just really a beautiful setup. You get your interest zone in here, so realistically it's like this. There's our interest zone. We go down into our interest zone, and then it's highlighted better in the 5 minute, to where we drop down into this zone, into our interest zone, and then continue higher. And this point right here was market open. So I mean, this was just like on a silver platter for me, honestly. Sweep London highs. Should honestly put on my ICTs. The zones so you can see it a little better. So these are just time zones, and then a little bit of like assistance with FEGs and order blocks. So you can see London high sweeps New York AM. We shift down as price moves lower, takes out this London low, which is the open of London, and then New York AM opens and shifts it all the way up to here. I mean, just a beautiful trade. Really unfortunate that I was not in the market while this was happening, and it's really just encouraging me. I see a lot of like my personal, like my mentors that I watch and people that I learn trading from, like all trade in the AM, and from what you guys have seen from these videos is that I don't really do that, and I think I'm honestly gonna switch my bias and start trading in the AM, because these setups are just so easy to just hit. I mean, it's hard to explain, but this is very, this is easy money right here. So we continue, and now you can see current price action, and we'll go into today's trade, which I lost around $300. You can see that up there. We have the hourly of the NASDAQ and the 5 minute. I'll honestly just go right into a single. So on the 1 hour, this was just honestly not the perfect setup, except, there's just, it needs to be, perfect in every sort of direction, every sort of confluence in order to, have a really good trade. And you can see this larger move up. However, this larger move up is what's known as a pivot. So a pivot is where you have a single candle and then a large move up and then another single candle, leaving this larger fair value gap, which in most cases you will see a rejection of supply and demand, but this price action was just too perfect for me to, get out of it. And so we see this area of interest here. I'm honestly going to highlight it more in TradingView because I feel like that's easier for you guys to see. So let's do that. We'll jump into the hourly. We see this initial pivot move up. This initial pivot move up, and this area of interest marked out by this candle. Let's do that, and let's do like that. We see this area of interest. So essentially I waited for us to enter, which we did right down here, and then I entered in long, and we can see here exactly like how it broke down on the 5 minute. So we entered this zone, and this choppy price action like kind of threw me off. I honestly shouldn't have even maybe taken this trade, and apologies for price action as it is currently moving. But you see our area of interest is marked out. Actually, let me move this on with my face cam so you guys can see a little better. We can see this area of interest down here, which is highlighted in the 1 hour, and then we have this retracement up. We break these highs, and sort of just create our own new high. You know, the price action continued up as we, you know, move closer and closer to New York Open, and with everything that's going on, it was pretty clear that New York Open was going to be bearish. So we peaked this high at New York AM and go lower into our interest zone. Perfect choppy price action in here, however, and then we continue. I'm marking out these highs. You can see, like, literally as I might even do like a live trading video, just so you can see like how I trade and what I look for. So you can see this high up here. You can see this high up here. Actually, full screen here. You can see this high, which was my target point. And initially, the way the price moved is that we entered right here after this entry. I waited for it to consolidate and the liquidity to sort of begin to sweep on this initial high. So it kind of swept on this high, and then we entered right around here, set my stop right below this low, and that's it. And, you know, honestly, price was moving pretty good. We swept out, we barely swept out, we swept out this high and swept out this high. Let me make these black, actually. Swept out that and swept this out, moving into here, and this was like my target zone. So for whatever reason, I don't really know what's going on. I know there's like FOMC minutes, and I mean, besides that, like, really, like, nothing, like, you know what I mean? Like, FOMC, this is very, you know, impactful, but this, I assumed, was just, you know, 2 p.m. price action is, you know, right around here. So I guess, like, yeah, like, right moving up into it. So I should have taken news into consideration, and, you know, it's just unfortunate. We had price was moving very well, everything was going well, and then just really big dump into these lows, and then an instant sweep back up to my take profit. So, you know, that's just really, it's just like unfortunate. There's just nothing else to be said. So, you know, there are always, like, trading during news is always really not good. If we look into tomorrow, I plan to take a trade tomorrow. I mean, there's all this consumer sentiment and, you know, GDP sales, initial jobless claim, you know, all this stuff. So we'll probably be looking at price, you know, within this time frame, and then take our trade within New York Open. But yeah, I mean, this was just really unfortunate. I mean, just this single frame right here. We had our great trade moving up. I mean, simple price. And then we rejected and moved up again and right into the take. I mean, that is like textbook, you know, failure of just stop loss, instant take profit. I mean, that's just, you know, it is what it is. We continue going. It looks like we're going to be sweeping new lows because of these FOMC minutes. I really don't know what's going on. I mean, besides, like, what's going on here. I mean, Trump does use shit. I mean, it's just like, you know, it's simple retail and stock, you know, news. I guess purely from FOMC. I don't really know. But, you know, I would say with confidence that this trade would have hit despite, you know, this news. So I assume, if we go into the hourly, we could honestly, like, I could tell you right now where price is going. We see this gap here. Let's illustrate it better here. How long is this recording going for? 14 minutes. All right, this is a long video, but it's fine. So we see this initial move up. The problem with my trading view is that my data is delayed, so I need to fix that. But assuming we are aware of this larger drive down to the price, I would say that our first interest zone would probably be down here, somewhere in there, I guess, right here, and then obviously this zone below here as well. So, I mean, I think it could even, no. Again, I don't really know, but we'll probably end up swooping down here to this low or this low. Again, depending on whatever this is purely just news. It's, again, pretty unpredictable. But yeah, I will be back tomorrow. Apologies for missing the day. Again, just to illustrate again, let's look at this sort of move one more time. I mean, this is just like a beautiful trade. I love looking at this. So yeah, I mean, pretty good. Again, P&L is minus 300 for today, but we keep moving. We'll come back tomorrow, trade AM session, and yeah, appreciate you guys for watching. Sorry for the longer video. Yeah, have a good one.